Hello and welcome everyone to another VGMU short. I'm your host Maverick888 and I'm here talking about our second part of our Minecraft tutorial on how to start your own Minecraft server. Now in this part of the tutorial we're going to go over how to make your Minecraft server available to everyone on the internet, and the actual process isn't that tough, but I also want to discuss a little bit of the kind of advanced features that you can use with the Minecraft server and a couple cool tricks to make it more readily available and easier for your friends to find your server. Now the first thing we have to do to get the Minecraft server available to everyone on the internet is do what's called port forwarding. Now for those of you not familiar with the process, this may sound like a daunting task, but it really isn't that hard. The main thing you have to do is identify what kind of router you have, and you can head over to portforward.com, and they have a big list of how to do it with your specific make and model. There's tons of models on there. Check it out if you need help with it. If you already know how to do it, then fantastic. The port you need to forward is the default port 25565. Now obviously this is changeable, but for right now we're just going to worry about port forwarding this default port. If it prompts you to select either TCP or UDP, you're okay to select just TCP, but you can select both as well. Now the next part is actually fairly simple. All you got to do is figure out your public IP address. Now this is going to probably be different, especially if you're behind a router, from what we discussed on the previous episode where we went into how to get your local IP address for people on your local network to be able to connect to your games. The public one is going to be a bit different, and it's not going to be something like 192.168, so stay away from those. What you want to do is go to a third-party site like whatismyip.com or something of the sort. If you Google search what is my IP, it'll give you a bunch of sites that'll tell you. You'll find that number, and that's the number you want to give your friends who are sitting out on the internet how to connect to your server. So you give them that, and they'll go into the server browser and type in, whatever your IP address is, and they should be able to connect. And assuming that you port forwarded correctly and followed all the previous steps from the last episode, they should actually be able to, play at this point and connect at this point. There's nothing too fancy about it. Obviously, typing an IP address is kind of a pain in the butt, so I'm going to go in right now and tell you how to set up a dynamic DNS. Now, basically, it sounds very fancy, but it's really not. It just gives a human-readable name to your IP address, and it makes it easier for your friends or whoever to connect to your server. So, for instance, instead of typing in 105.65.32.4, they're going to type in something a little easier, like minecraftserver.funtime.com. Now you can get pretty fancy with dynamic DNS, and there's lots of services out there that'll do something like this for you, but the free way, which is sometimes the best way to do it, is to go to a site called FreeDNS. That's at freedns.afraid.org. And you can sign up for an account and get a random name assigned to you that you can use as your human readable name instead of your IP address. For instance, mine is maverickx888.ignorelist.com. Now the first thing you want to do is sign up for a free account, and if you go to freedns.afraid.org, you're going to click on Dynamic DNS on the left hand side and make an account. So once you make an account, you'll receive an activation email. Go ahead and follow that activation email with the link provided, and it will take you to a page that will say add a subdomain. You want to click on add a subdomain, and basically this is where it's going to give you the option to create the subdomain, your name, that you can give your friends to connect to your server. Now a little form will appear, and you're going to select a couple options here. The first part of the form says type, and you're going to want to leave it as default, which should be A, and that's perfectly fine for what we need to do. The next part is subdomain. Now this is where you're going to put in whatever the name of it you want to. In this case, for example, we're going to use a video game mashup. So go ahead and type that in. Next, it'll ask you for the domain. Now this is the last part of it, so it'll be videogamemashup.whatever.com. There's a couple to choose from that are free. If you got a premium account, you have a lot more to choose from. But for instance, I'm going to use in this case ignorelist.com. Now the destination is going to be the IP address of your computer. Now remember, we just found out how to grab your public IP address. You're going to want to use that public IP address instead of your local IP address. Use the public one that you found earlier and put it in there if it's not already in there. But usually it'll be in there already because it will do ping for you, and it will find out what your real public IP address is. Once you have that, go ahead and hit save, and you can move on to the next step. Now we need to get this actually working on our computer that's going to be hosting the server. And in order to do that, you're going to have to download a client. You can use a couple ones out on the web that'll do this for you, but the easiest one to use is the one that actually is built for the free DNS website. And to get to that, you're going to want to click on Dynamic DNS again in the left-hand side, and it's going to say Dynamic DNS Clients. You're going to want to go ahead and click on Dynamic DNS Clients. There's a lot of options right here, but the one we're looking for, if you scroll down a little bit under the Windows Clients section, is the free DNS update. This one's actually made for, like I said, this service specifically. So you're going to want to go into that site and then go ahead and download it. Now you're going to want to obviously install it, and then next you're going to want to just run it. It'll give you the option to run at the end of the installer. So go ahead and run it, and you're going to get a little pop-up screen that goes through a couple little commands that it runs. Don't worry about that. That's okay for now. What you want to do is you want to go into Settings, and at the top it's going to say Username and Password. Now you're going to want to enter your username and password, and then you're going to want to hit Get Domain List. Now once you hit Get Domain List and you've entered in your correct username and password, it should give you a list of all domains that are tied to your account. In our case, it's videogamemashup.ignorelist.com. Now all you have to do is go ahead and go to the bottom and hit Update Now, and it'll update everything and sync to your account. So now, whatever your IP address is should now automatically be routed to that domain. Now go ahead and click on the Status tab in the free DNS Updater, and it should just tell you that your IP address is good and you're updating all your dynamic domains and the updating of your domain name is successful. Now if it's all good and you see that updating is successful, you can go ahead and move on to the next step. Now what you want to do is go ahead and start up your Minecraft server and let it go through its initial startup processes. And then once it's all ready to go, go ahead and open your Minecraft client, log in if you need to, then go into multiplayer, and you're going to want to go ahead and add a new server. Now here's where it gets a little tricky. If you're running the Minecraft server on the same network as the client, like for in this instance using the same computer, you're not going to be able to use the dynamic DNS name. You're going to want to put in, your local IP address, which is the 192.168 whatever. Go ahead and put that in. But everyone else outside of your network on the internet should be able to use the dynamic DNS name. So in this case, VGMU.ignorelist.com. Now, once you verify that you can join it, go have a friend outside the network test it out and see if they can connect to it. If it's good, then you're pretty much done, and there's only a couple more things you want to consider when running a Minecraft server, or any server for that matter. This is a general good practice, and that's you're going to want to add a firewall and some antivirus as just an extra protection for your computer. Since it's going to have a little bit more activity and more traffic coming to it from the internet, it's always good to be a little bit secure. Now, the best thing that you can get for your computer, first of all, in terms of security from outside attacks, is going to be a firewall. There's lots of options out there. There's lots of expensive options and lots of free options. I personally use Komodo. Go ahead and Google Komodo. You can find it right there. They do a great free personal firewall that works fantastic. And I'll leave you to decide if you want to pick that up or go with another solution. And then antivirus-wise, I go with Avast. Same thing, free, great solution. But there's others around if you prefer other ones. But go ahead and make sure you get those two, because it's kind of important when having a computer exposed to the internet to have a good firewall and a good antivirus to help you out. Once you pick up the antivirus and firewall, install those and configure them all, you're done. Go ahead and have fun with your friends. They should be able to connect now with no problems. Next time, we're going to have one more segment in this series, and it's going to go over a couple advanced server property options in the Minecraft folder. You might have noticed in the Minecraft server folder there are server.properties file that you can edit. And there's a couple things you can mess around with. I'll show you a couple cool tips. I'll also show you how to make your Minecraft server run smoother if you're seeing you're having problems with it. And we'll also go over how to create a ban list and how to give other people administrative privileges for your server, like a moderator status. So go ahead and check that out next time. Thank you everyone for watching, and stay tuned. And please like and subscribe and share it with a friend. Until next time, this has been Maverick8 with another VGMU Short.